Alright, so today's video is pretty special. Not only are we getting the God of War Ragnarok Platinum today, but this will be my 100th Platinum trophy. A few months ago, one of my longtime viewers and my sub-daddy on Twitch donated enough money for me to play this game, just for it to be free on PlayStation Plus a couple months later. Regardless, I finally got around to playing it, and I've got to say, this is one of the best story games I've played in a long time. With only 36 trophies, this game requires a total of one playthrough. We start our journey by picking what difficulty to play on, and because I'm actually looking to enjoy the game, I'm not picking the hardest difficulty to play on. Oh, but JB, where's the fun in that? Hold on there, keyboard warrior. Let me explain. I'm not playing this just for the Platinum trophy. I'm playing this to actually enjoy it. I know, shocking. And even picking the difficulty that I picked, there were still some challenges for me. But rest assured, this will still be a fun experience for you. With that being said, we went with Give Me Balance, and trust me, even that can be hard at times. Our first objective in the game is to go home, where we find Kratos and his son Atreus some nice father-son bonding time hunting. Uh-oh, the neighborhood's crackhead that you stole from is attacking us, wanting her money or your life. After leaving her in a place where she surely did die, we move on with our ride home. Upon coming home, we have this super sad scene where Atreus has to put down one of his pet wolves. And as someone with 2 dogs that I love half to death, this really hurt my soul. Not even 5 minutes in, and I'm crying for my mommy. Mommy, please come pick me up. I don't want to be here. After that, we decide to go to bed, where we have a wet dream about our dead wife. Kratos, you kinky little fuck. Then she totally kills the mood by saying this.
Good boy.
Oh, hell nah. Kill her right now. I'll be damned if I get called. It's already bad that I get called good boy from a brother-in-law and my wife. I ain't taking it from a girl in the game. Nah, uninstall. We're uninstalling right now, chat. We're not playing this game anymore, dude. After reinstalling the game, we learn that Atreus wandered off into the woods too far past his bedtime. So we go looking for him. While looking for the little rascal, we run into our first boss, Bjorn. No, not PewDiePie's kid. I mean, this big-ass bear. And as we are about to end the bear's life by snapping its neck, it enters its final form. Or better yet, turns into our son, who decided to wander into the woods. After apologizing for committing domestic abuse to our child, we get rewarded with our first trophy. We then stroll around the woods for a little bit and find our way back home, where we decide to finally sleep because, let's be honest, it's been a long day already. When all of a sudden, we are awoken by some loud noise. When opening the door, we are introduced to one of the game's villains, if you will, Thor. In reality, he's just upset because we may have done something with his 2 sons dying. Maybe. Anywho, we also get to meet the game's main villain, Odin. He decides to join because he wants to adopt our son, and at this point, I'm totally cool with that. I'll let him have fun trying to find him in the woods while he's in his emo phase. Go ahead, Odin. You go for it. Sadly, Kratos doesn't want to give up his son that easy, thus causing Odin to force us by making Thor fight us. Bitch move if you ask me. I will say the Thor fight was pretty cool. Made me feel super excited for the rest of the game's story. And of course, we can't forget the fun, iconic moment in the fight. Oh, this is not gonna end well. Damn! I'm dead. That's crazy.
Oh no. I say when we're done.
Oh, excuse me! We end up beating Thor's ass to the point where he runs away. Kinda got me glad we didn't have to give up our son for adoption. The leader making his soldiers do the dirty work, and said soldier not even being able to beat the old Kratos. L move, Greek gods. L move. The good news is the fight actually got us our second trophy in the game. Shortly after that trophy, we get another one for purchasing a skill. As a side note, I figured out how to customize Kratos and make him black. And for almost the majority of the story, I vibe with the look. As they say, once you go black, you never go back. Huh? Back to the story, we arrive at home again, and Atreus is telling us that he knows how to stop Ragnarok. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, that's kind of the whole plot in this game. Due to our actions from the first game, we've caused the end of the world, so to speak, and now Junior here may know a way to stop it. So we gear up and head out to save the world. Again. Our first stop is to look at some drawings that Atreus' people drew that would basically predict the future. Yes, these are from the first game, but Atreus has learned something about them. This whole time we could be going inside of them, just like I go inside of your mom. In here, we get a better idea of where to go next on our adventure. In this depiction, we learn we have to go to Svartalfheim to find someone important. But before we can do that, our 2 favorite dwarves, Sindri and Brock, introduce us to Sindri's house, which is our safe house for the entirety of the game. It's like the middle ground between all the realms. Our first realm we explore is, as mentioned before, Svartalfheim. We go through some puzzles to open up the map some more and find ourselves entering a small town full of dwarves. They must be scared of the big folk because once we docked on land, not a single dwarf in sight, except for Sindri, who actually fixes Atreus' bow to help us break these green glowing rocks. Superman is calling, trying to figure out how Sindri did that. As we progress through the town further, we stumble across a mini bar. Get it? Because they're dwarves? Come on, that was funny. You gotta admit that one.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Anyways, we meet this little guy thinking it's the dwarf that we're looking for when it is indeed not. He just tells us to keep going into the realm and you'll find him. So we do just that. Along doing so, we get tasked with the first of many favors or side quests the game has to offer. I'm not going to dive into every single side quest that I do because the video would be over an hour long and I don't want to totally spoil the game for people. However, when doing this side quest, we got another trophy for upgrading an armor piece. With the side quest completed, we get back on track to find the dwarf that we are looking for, which we do end up finding shortly after. After a pointless talk with him, we continue on our adventure to find this mysterious character. We find a nice little train car to take us to the mine where we believe is our objective. Little did I know that Mark Zuckerberg and his children would attack my train. No, you can't have my Facebook information. Get off my train. Anyways, we crash and somehow end up at our destination, the mines, where we end up finding the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tyr, the God of War. Yes, I thought Kratos was the God of War too, hence the title of the game, but I was wrong, sort of. You see, Tyr is the giant's God of War, and he is the one that can stop Ragnarok. That is, if he wasn't a little Tyr decided while being locked away that violence is not the key to winning anymore, so he just straight up doesn't fight. Like at all. So why did we even break him out of prison? Yeah, I'm not sure either. Maybe we'll learn further into the game. So we take Tyr back to Sindri's house to... Honestly, I don't even know what he does here. Meanwhile, Kratos is having a roast session about his son, who just so happens to be listening to his dad talk shit about him. So in order to win an ounce of his father's love back, Atreus decides to go find someone that might know what to do with Tyr, which brings us back to Midgard, where we end up finding Freya. You know, the crazy lady who was trying to kill us at the beginning of the game? Still don't know why though. We tell her that we found Tyr, which makes her mad and tells us to leave or else. Having made zero progress now, we head back to Sindri's house. While we were gone, Kratos made the decision to go to Alfheim to find the shrine of Gora. Gora? Yep, that one. That one right there. So we head there in search of the shrine, and what felt like literal hours of exploring, we end up finding the shrine. When going inside, we learn a plot twist all the way from the first game. Gora lied about the prophecy, which means the big bad Odin is working off of a false prophet. Finally, Tyr is useful in figuring this out for us. Still with no idea what to do, we leave the shrine and head back to the treehouse again. Next, we have the hardest objective of the game. Yet again, our teenager says something dumb and gets himself sent to his room with no food. He falls asleep and wakes up in only what I can imagine is a Dune movie crossover. Nope, turns out it's a cameo for The Mask. Although I don't remember a bunch of dead looking kids walking around. After following one of the kids for a while, we end up in a new looking place. After exploring this place, we find a drawing that looks awfully a lot like the shrines that we've been hunting down, along with a girl who is painting this drawing. We decide to follow the girl because why not? It's not like following random kid-like figures has steered us wrong before, right? Eventually, we make it back to where she lives, where the girl, Angrboda, shows us drawings that we've only seen uncompleted. One of these drawings, however, shows that Kratos actually dies. Yeah, total spoiler, my bad, so sorry. To calm ourselves down from this discovery, we do some giant stuff, which was so boring, I don't even want to cover it. However, during one of the parts of these giant things, we do learn that the souls of the giants have been stored in these little seed things. Atreus has actually been finding them throughout Midgard, but had no idea what they were. Now knowing, he takes the ones Angrboda found and they continue on with giant stuff. After some more exploring, we find this eerie looking castle, which is the home of Gryla, Angrboda's grandmother, who is now evil. We sneak inside and find out that she is harboring animals to feed off of. In an attempt to save one, we decide to try and put a giant soul in one of the animals. It works, but clearly it doesn't want anything to do with us. Just like my dad. Anyways, we leave the pit of despair, but we run into Gryla about to kill a wolf. In a stealthy manner, we attempt to rescue the wolf. We get it free, but get gripped harder than my meat on a Saturday night by Gryla. This just becomes a boss fight where all we're doing is breaking her little cauldron. After a couple of damage phases, we end up beating her, and we get a trophy for doing so. After that, we head back to Angrboda's place, fall asleep, dreaming that maybe your boy can get lucky, but ends up back in Midgard. Total blue ball moment. Anyways, we try to sneak back to our room into Sindri's house just to get caught by Big Daddy Kratos, who knows we snuck out of the house past curfew. Then we get attacked by a random Valkyrie. After beating its ass, I go to rip its wings off and we discover that the Valkyrie is actually Freya, where she reveals she no longer wants to stay in Midgard. The only way to do so is to go back to her home realm, Vanaheim, and sever the bond that weighs her down. Yep, all game she's been trying to kill us, but now she needs our help all of a sudden. Funny how that works. We also get a trophy for beating her in the fight earlier, so I guess that's enough for me to help her out. Next, we arrive at Vanaheim, and after 20 minutes of exploring and fighting various enemies, we find Brock trapped. Come to find out, he fell right into the trap of this guy, who thinks we are Odin. This is actually Freyr, Freya's brother. After he realizes we are all on the same side, he cuts Brock down. We then continue our journey to find what's keeping Freya bonded to the realms. Eventually, after completing multiple puzzles, we end up in Freya's old home? I think it is. Anyways, there's this object protected by Odin's magic. All we have to do is break it free and Freya is free. How hard can that be?
Holy shit!
Yeah, now it's time to fight the Needhog? Yep. These names, dude, they're so crazy. I can't even. I wanted to show a little bit of the action because I really haven't shown much of the fighting. Considering we are this far in the video and still haven't even beat the game, I am skipping parts on purpose. If you ever want to see me play through games live before the videos come out, make sure you guys follow my Twitch channel where I live stream all of this. Also, comment down below, do you guys like the face cam in this video? If you guys don't like it, I can easily get rid of it whenever I do these platinum streams. Anyway, now that I found a place to shamelessly plug my Twitch, let's get back into the game. We end up whooping this creature and giving it a nice little haircut. This allows Freya to break her bond to the realm to be free at last. And since we helped her do this, she agrees to put her past behind her and help us in this fight. Right after the cutscene, we get a trophy for slotting an enhancement into the amulet that Needhog dropped, as well as a trophy for killing Needhog. We then start scaling our way back to the camp to figure out what is next on our adventure. Once back at the camp, Brock upgrades Freya's bow so it's as good as Atreus is, and then we get to the side quest. Now, I know I haven't covered too many side quests and I still won't, but this one actually is tied to a trophy. Plus, the title involved a mysterious orb, so I figured it wouldn't be a bad idea to find this thing. However, when we found it, it didn't look unique at all. It honestly looked like a small slime ball of sort. And sure enough, when we brought it back to the other dwarf, she reveals it's just her dog's favorite toy. Yep, the God of War is retrieving dog toys now. Just great. But hey, at least we get a trophy out of it. We then complete another side quest where Freya gets a second sword, and this actually becomes the first silver trophy we unlock in the game. We then return back to Sindri's house and confront Atreus on why he snuck out past his curfew. He didn't like this, so he turned into a bear and left again. Seriously, this kid is the equivalent of a teenage girl. Atreus escapes back to Midgard where he ends up finding Freya's old home, which is part of a giant turtle who's been frozen for only God knows how long. We were able to light a fire inside the house, giving it some warmth, when all of a sudden, a crow appears at our window, just crowing like crazy. The complete opposite of my Twitter notifications because I have less than 500 followers. Anyways, this crow brings some of its friends to swarm us, which somehow teleports us to a whole new area. Kinda dick that we fell from the sky into the water, but honestly, Atreus kind of deserved it. After a little bit of exploring, we discover a small town where we meet Skidor. Jeez, I can't with these names, dude. Oh my. Anyways, he tells us we are just outside of Asgard. The only way to get into Asgard is to climb the giant wall just past the little town. Without hesitation or looking for an elevator, we decide to free climb all the way up. Once we get to the top, we are assisted by this guy, who turns out to be Heimdall. And if you guessed off of his look that he is not a good dude, you would be correct. But he does help us this time and takes us to Odin. Of course, it wasn't going to be that easy. The little Dicknut McGee here threw us by Odin's doors where we fight off a couple of regular enemies. Then we try to fight Heimdall, but we quickly learn that this dude is faster than your mom taking her clothes off for me. Eventually, Thor steps in to break the fight up, just in time for Odin to see that we are here as well. Odin then takes us on a few business trips to show us that he is actually doing good instead of evil. Then he brings us to our room that I guess he had ready for us in case we ever wanted to be adopted. When trying to leave the room for the first time, we are introduced to Thrud, which is Thor's daughter. Yeah, she isn't a huge fan of us since we kind of killed her brothers and we are staying in their old room. Any chance I had of bagging this baddie was out the window.
Oh my god!
She eventually sees that we aren't that bad and decides to show us around a little bit. After the grand tour, we go back to Odin's office where, I kid you not, we steal right in front of him. Like, come on, Atreus. If you're here to spy on Odin, don't make it look obvious that you're trying to steal information that would affect him right in front of his face. As punishment for stealing, Odin brings us down to his dungeon, where he shows us this green tear that's just kind of floating there. He says he tried to look into it, but it backfired, which explains the pirate cosplay he's got going on. He then gives us half of the mask and asks us if we can read what's on it. Luckily, we can, and it leads us to Muspelheim. Jesus, God, I can't, dude. It leads us to this place. It leads us to hell, okay? Let's just say hell. With the help of Thor, we battle through enemies and end up finding another piece of the mask. We bring it back to Odin, where he tells us that he thinks the mask can be used to see into the tear. So he sends us back to our room to read the mask and study a little bit more on where to find the final piece. Meanwhile, back at Sindri's house, Kratos is trying to figure out where could have Atreus gone. We decide to travel back to Midgard and look for these people called Norms. After beating up this frost phantom and riding a horse underwater, we arrive at the Norms. As a side note, these characters were quite interesting and funny at times.
Resists the urge to grunt. Oh, he fails.
Except for this bitch right here.
But you called him the destroyer of fate. There must be a way to subvert destiny.
After a useless visit to the norms, we head back to Sindri's house where he explains we need to forge a weapon to attempt to kill Odin. The only way to do so is to use Draupnir, which is a ring that duplicates itself. And after getting the ring, we head back to Svartalfheim to forge said weapon. We have to dive underwater and give Draupnir plus some other materials to this mermaid who forges one of the best weapons in the game. Shortly after, our son's new stepfather stops our journey to let us know that he is a better dad than we are by telling us Atreus is perfectly fine. Kratos, not fully believing this, just shrugs off the conversation and continues his journey. Before continuing on our main journey, we have to stop and help this little fella find his hammer. We end up finding it, and after looting a common chest in the area, then delivering it back to the little guy, it pops a trophy. After that, we head back to Sindri's house to show him our cool new weapon and then go to bed because let's be honest, when was the last time Kratos slept? While Kratos is taking a nappy nap, we go back to Atreus who is in Helheim trying to find the other part of the mask with Heimdall and Thrud. But of course, Heimdall leaves us to do all the work just so he can take the credit for helping later. Anyways, the mask leads us to this big old furball who is blocking the path to the mask. So just like that girl who keeps choosing other guys, we set it free. However, that did not go as well as we thought because this wolf can literally tear seams between the realms, which explains why he was locked up. Feeling ashamed, we tell Odin that we want to go back home, and he actually lets us, which brings us to Midgard. From there, we go back to Sindri's house just to find out that the wolf we set free tore a hole from Helheim into the treehouse, which has everyone fighting for their lives. Somewhere in the fight, we get knocked on our back and almost get eaten out. I mean eaten, but was luckily saved by Kratos. After the fighting, Atreus explains it's all his fault, which gets everyone even more mad at him since the last time everyone saw him, he stormed off as a bear. So to make up for it, we head to Helheim to fix his mistake. But before that, we get another trophy. Back in Helheim, we were chasing down the realm-tearing wolf. We eventually caught up to it and had to beat it down. Sorry, PETA, please don't take my video down. Anyways, we get a trophy for putting our dog back on a leash. This also means no more tears within the realms. Or so I thought, because apparently I didn't put the leash on tight enough. When fighting the wolf again, Atreus stabbed him with a knife infused with the soul from his dead pet wolf from the very beginning of the game. Remember that? The tearjerker scene not even 10 minutes into the game? Do you need a reminder? You don't? Good, because I don't feel like having a cry sesh again. Anyways, we find the wolf and turns out he is now Atreus' pet 2.0, so that's pretty cool. Next, we travel back to Vanaheim to help Freya's brother fight off Odin's forces. While fighting Odin's forces, we run into Heimdall, who is here to kill Kratos. And I've got to be honest, this was the most pleasing fight in the game. I hated Heimdall with a passion. And when we laid that first punch on him, it really got me going.
Damn! Eat shit, bitch!
After hitting him enough times, we finally beat Heimdall. We blow his arm off and walk away. Or so I thought. Turns out, Heimdall is Greek for starfish. Don't actually look that up, just please take my word for it. After another fight with him, we decide it's time to put Heimdall to sleep. Permanently. Which also gives us another trophy. After that fight, we finally find Freyr, who is hurt and cannot fight. So we carry his ass like I carry in Destiny 2 to a magic boat. That magic boat takes us all the way back to the camp. Then for the next 3-ish hours, I get carried away in side missions. You see, the problem that I had in this game was anytime I saw a side mission, I had the feeling to do it. At the end of the day, I have to do them all for the platinum, but that's why it took so long to actually beat the main story. However, I don't feel terrible because I was genuinely enjoying the game and helping myself by leveling up faster throughout the game. And eventually, I realized that all of these side missions would take up so much time for now, so I decided to drop them and move on with the main story. Back at Sindri's house, we decide it's best for Atreus to go back to Asgard to figure out more of Odin's plan regarding Ragnarok. Sindri gives us this one-time only stone that will teleport Atreus back to Sindri's house in case anything goes wrong. We tell Odin we might actually know where the rest of the mask is located, Niflheim. After some searching, we finally have the mask fully built. And just as we are about to hand the mask over, Sif, Thor's wife, shows up to rat Kratos out for killing Heimdall. Even though Sif is a baddie, she's doing everything to get us killed. She ends up getting Thor on her side, and right before he flattens us like a pancake, Atreus uses that stone that Sindri gave him earlier to escape. And as a bonus, we even have the mask. We take it back to the house and discuss what to do next. While in discussion, Tyr takes the mask, and I think he's finally starting to get the idea that he has to become the God of War again and actually fight. We are finally going to see a fighting Tyr.
You never shut up!
Oh!
Things.
Okay, that's it. I want Odin dead. And the sad part is Odin did all of that and still didn't even get the mask. Brock suffered for no reason whatsoever. After this sad death scene, we get the gut-wrenching task of preparing for war. As we discuss options, we learn that we must unite all realms to fight against Asgard. We take on the task of going back to Muspelheim, or Hell, because it's way easier to say. Here we are looking for Surtur. We need him to give us an army of sort to fight Odin. We find him and he takes a liking to our blades. He explains that with his firepower, he can power Kratos' blades to stab him in the heart, which would make him basically become Ragnarok. So just like a kid when you see a man in the white van offering candy, we follow. Then we end up stabbing Satyr in the heart just like my ex did back in high school. That ungrateful bitch. After Satyr falls, my worst nightmare comes to reality. Not one, but 2 Valkyries from Odin attack us. To make matters even worse, I had to fully bring their health down not once, not twice, but 3 different times. And even after that, it still looked like I was going to get my ass beat harder than a drum. That was until we had a cute little father-son bonding moment using our rage to absolutely manhandle these Valkyrie. And once they were dead, we did get a trophy for beating them. After that fight, we check on Surtur to see if anything happened, and now says he awaits our call to start the rise of Ragnarok. So we head back through Muspelheim to the Mystic Gate to get back to Midgard to meet with everyone and anyone that will help us fight Asgard. After a long-hearted speech that felt like I was watching an Avengers movie, we called Ragnarok. Now we're storming Asgard to try to get to Odin. Immediately coming into the fight, we notice our flying soldiers are falling. So we head to take out the war machines that are taking them out. When we get to the first one, we see Sindri pulling up some device. Now I'm going to call this Sindri on the perk 30, because from here on out, Sindri became one of the most badass characters in the game. With one strike of this device, the war machines are gone. Now we switch to Atreus to protect Midgard citizens that are caught in the crossfire. At some point, we get stopped by Thrud, who is ready to give us a haircut from the neck up. That was until Mommy Sif stepped in to say that we are in the right, and this is the only way to be free of Odin, because he doesn't actually care for his own family. Shocker, I know. Switching back to Kratos, we now need to find Odin. But before we can even fight him, his fat and somehow in-shape son Thor is back to fight us yet again. And this time around, it was way easier since I actually had weapons. After beating him, Thor is deciding if he should turn against Odin or stick by his side. Let's just say, Thor didn't get a say in the matter. And Odin didn't stop there. He yeeted Thrud out of the realm, which left Kratos and Atreus to fight the Allfather. Now this fight actually wasn't terribly hard. The only difficult part was whenever he light up the ground and smite it, but for a final boss, kind of underwhelming. Eventually, we not only beat the Allfather, we wiped the floor clean with him. I mean, look at this sequence here. Bro is getting dusted. Ain't no way he's coming back from this one. Unless we capture his soul, giving a glimmering chance of him coming back. Like Atreus, what are you thinking?
Oh, Sindri?
Oh, thank God for Sindri on the perk 30. Love this version of him. Anyways, we still have one major problem. Ragnarok is still happening. Freyr is holding him back long enough for us to escape, but Atreus feels terrible and that he should help. So he goes to help Freyr when... Yeah, don't worry. He's fine. Don't worry about that. We also get a trophy for defeating Odin, which also means the main story is over with. Well, almost. After showing Kratos that we are still alive, Atreus decides that he needs to go on a journey of his own and learn more about himself. So he leaves us for now. And now the story is over with, which now sets us up for part 2 of the trophy guide, which is collectibles and favors. All I did from here on out was just go realm by realm and start to 100% all the realms. Well, sort of. I really started to tackle the favors part first, which meant I was jumping around from realm to realm. We start off in Svartalfheim by doing a favor to pay respect for Brock. One of the saddest side missions, but a very nice send-off for such an amazing character.
Sit through all that. There we go.
Next, we head to Alfheim to free a huge jellyfish. This was actually the second one we freed because I freed one earlier in the game. In doing so, we got ourselves another trophy. Heading back to Svartalfheim because I'm like an indecisive teenage girl, we need to free this whale-like animal from its chains. Apparently Mimir, the head on our waist, chained it there forever ago. Eventually we do, which gives us another trophy. After clearing out Svartalfheim, we head back to Sindri's house, talk to this magic squirrel who tasked us with capturing these lindworms and freeing them back to the tree. Now I did this throughout my playthrough casually and got the last few when I started to go for 100% of the realms. Anyways, after releasing them, we get the trophy. Then I went to one of the workbenches and crafted a full set of dragon armor to get that trophy. Next, while exploring the upper half of Vanaheim, we came across a total of 4 of the stags and returned them home by getting this trophy after that. Also in Vanaheim, we slayed a bunch of dragons, freeing the area of it, which gives us another trophy. Shortly after that, I collected the last of the apples and horns that you get from these golden puzzle chests, which upgrades your health and rage. I also went back and found the cheapest armor to fully upgrade for that trophy. Surprisingly, I didn't get this earlier in my playthrough. I also went back to Muspelheim and completed the trials there, and I've got to be honest, this was the most boring part of the game. I think it's because of the fact that you do the same 9 challenges just in different orders to fully unlock all of the awards. Once I did this numerous amounts of times for the challenges, I did get the trophy. Then came the hardest trophy in the game. Defeat the new Valkyrie Queen, Gna. I've got to be honest, if this was the boss fight instead of Odin, I would have never beat this game. Gnu was by far the hardest boss in both of the recent God of War games. Eventually I started to get the hang of it, but I still had a few deaths right before winning. No, dude, look how close I was. She was almost dead. Got her down to her last health bar, dude. Got her down to her last health bar. No, you kidding me? Eventually, I was able to finally beat her. Might have lost some years of my life, but not as bad as Gnu losing her head.
That's crazy. Oh my god, that was the worst.
Anyways, we head back to Midgard to get the rest of the trophies. The first one was by finding the last of the books, which was one of the game collectibles. In doing so, we found the last piece needed for our amulet of okay, why are there 2 G's there? That's insane. Anyways, we repair the amulet, that gives us a trophy. We also collected this flower, which marked the last of the unique flowers from the 9 realms that we needed. We also completed a side quest that allowed us to show some love to our pet wolves. When we pet them, we get a trophy to pop there. And we collect the last of the artifacts scattered around the realms. Next is the battle of the Berserker King, Hrolf. Going into this fight, I thought it was going to be harder than Gnu, but man was I wrong. This was one of the easiest fights in the game. I know a lot of people were hoping for a struggle on this one, but there really wasn't one. Once I beat him, I got the trophy to pop, and after that, there were only 2 more trophies to get, which can all be done at a crafting table. One for obtaining all the shields in the game, and one for obtaining all the relics and sword hilts. And once I claimed those from the shop and got the trophies, the platinum finally popped. That is my God of War Ragnarok Platinum Trophy experience. Truly a milestone to hit 100 platinums, and I cannot wait to hit 200. If you want to see more videos like this on the channel, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. I do greatly appreciate it. I've got a couple more games that I have already platinumed and I just need to make videos on. Also, if you want to see me go for these trophies live, make sure you guys follow my Twitch channel. Anyways, like the video if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next platinum video.